True underdog. Unleash the power within.
Jayson Waller, True Underdog. Make sure you check out the podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can go to trueunderdog.com. Make sure you subscribe. Also, our badass YouTube channel, True Underdog. Listen, today I want to talk about fear. Everybody has fear, especially in today's world with the pandemic, with the way the world is going on, with all kinds of different movements going on. Everybody has got some fear. Fear in family, fear in faith, fear in business, fear in relationship, fear of failing, fear of success. Everybody can relate to fear. And I get scared all the time. I get nervous. I remember with this pandemic when it first came out, I'm the type that's like, oh, I don't believe in anything. And nothing ever scares me. And when this came out, I got totally scared. I got freaked out. I'm like washing everything that's coming by, and I was nervous and I got scared. And my wife, who lives in fear and has anxiety all the time on a lot of things, which I don't, this was her every day. She was normal and I was next level scared, right? How did I deal with that? Well, we went to North Carolina. It was a little different. I adjusted. Now look, I've become acclimated to the everyday of what's going on with COVID. I still have a fear out there, but I feel a lot better. I can control only what I can control, right? So that's step one. How do you handle your fear, and what is your fear? Is your fear have to do with health? Does your fear have to do with fear of dying? Are you building yourself up anxiety? Are you scared to fail? Are you scared to take a chance? Are you scared to open a business? Are you scared to ask somebody out? You've got to find a way to deal with fear, and you can't do it overnight. I always say no elevators in life. Everything keeps coming full circle on that. You cannot just wake up the next morning and be completely fearless. There's no such thing. Everybody has some sort of fear, and a lot of the fear happens because of our mind going forward and thinking, what if, what could, how, when, why, and we start going down all of these different rabbit holes of what can happen. And look, that is good for strategizing a plan of success and building a map. It is the wrong medicine when you deal with fear. When you deal with fear, you have got to deal with it one small piece at a time. How can I manage today's issue? You cannot control what happens in the world. You can't control the weather. You can't control the diseases. You have zero control of that. Obviously, you already know that, but you need to be reminded, zero control. Now what? Well, with zero control, what do you do next? You control what you can control. You can control your reaction. You can control your mindset. You can control and say, hey, I'm not going to live in a box. I'm not going to hide in a closet. I'm not going to not take a chance on this job. I'm not going to not take a shot at getting this sale. I'm not going to take a shot at opening this business. I'm not going to take a shot at asking this girl or guy out, right? You have to decide that. And I always say, it won't kill you to take a chance. If you take a chance, that fear, as you continue to take chances, starts to go lower and lower and lower. This is how this works. You have to swing at the ball. You have to take the shot. There's things you can control and things you can't. And if you try to block out and stick underneath the bed and not think about the things you can't control and focus on the things you can, it gets a little bit easier. You're not going to wake up and feel great, but you're going to wake up and go, you know what? Maybe I'm going to go to the gas station today. I'm not so nervous. Maybe I'm going to go to the grocery store today. I'm not so nervous. Maybe I'm going to send my resume to this employer. I'm not so nervous. Maybe I'm going to ask this person out. I'm not so nervous. We have to overcome fear the opposite way of how we plan for success. When we plan for success, we think of all the different doors and all the different roads, and we have to have a map. When we deal with fear, it's reverse. You can't look at all the different doors and different maps with fear. That's a success draw. That's the map of success. Fear, very, very small. That's when you can be short-sighted. That's when you can look right in front of you and that's it. I can only control this moment. I can only go out today. I can only send my resume today. I can only open my business today. You have got to look at fear as a close encounter of a small situation that you can only control that second, that moment, what's going on. Do not look deep. Save those deep thoughts for planning, for building a map, for success, for strategizing what you're going to do with your life, whether it be school, relationship, business, whatever it is. Bring the fear back. Reverse the brain. Make it go, I can only control today from when I wake up to when I go to sleep. I got zero other control. I can control what I put on. I can control how I smell. I can control if I brush my teeth. I can control what I'm driving. I can control if I'm going to stop at the red light. You can control those things. Stay with that when it comes to fear. But when it comes to success, that's when you plan and strategize. There is a difference. And I know it's hard to sit here and think, well, it's a no-brainer. Of course, that's what we do. But if you tell yourself, I'm a big believer, what you say and what you think will happen. If you think you suck and you think you're a failure, guess what? You probably suck and it sucks to suck and you're probably a failure because that's what you're thinking. You're not giving yourself that hope. You're not giving yourself that determination and that confidence to feel good and do things. Instead, you're beating yourself up. The world is a tough, nasty, hateful place sometimes, and you don't need to kick your own ass. Let it try to kick your ass. You worry about trying to kick its ass. You worry about the control that you can handle when you go forward. Because the world is not going to give you a free lunch. It's not going to meet you halfway. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. No matter what your situation is, no matter where you live or what your background is or who you are, shit gets hard. Everybody's got their demons and skeletons to deal with. But we've all got to learn to deal with our fear, right? I had many times I was scared to fail. I had many times that I was coaching people and managing people who had college degrees, who I felt were, they intimidated me early on in my career. I'm like, dude, this guy went to college. He's got a PhD. He's got an MBA, yada, yada, yada. And it would bother me and it would intimidate me. And I was scared. Am I going to fail these guys? Am I going to let these guys down? And now I've got to eliminate that fear. Running an organization with almost 1,200 employees and, busting my ass and have a great team around me that's just, they think of the company first and our employees think of the company first. That allows me to take a lot of that fear and stick it away because I put that weight on my shoulders and I say, hey, as long as I make today's best decisions for the brand and for our company and then for me, then guess what? We're going to be okay because they're all doing the same thing. So you have got to focus on switching your mindset. Fear, keep it small, simple, stupid. Only look in front of you. Don't sit here and start analyzing every different road it can go on. For success, that's when you think deep. Now, you don't need to think a year deep. I mentioned on last week's podcast, you need to think 30 days, 90 days, 6 months, and a year. That's it. That's your plan. That's your map. Fear, think of today. Think of no longer than this week. Because once you start to think past that, your mind goes everywhere. You think the universe is big. Imagine how big your mind gets when you think of every situation or every disease or every little thing that can happen to you or every little thing that you touch and you can get sick or you can get hit by a car or someone's going to say no to you or they're going to leave you or your business is going to shut down. You've got to quit that nonsense because I'm a true believer. I say it again. Mindset is everything. And if you believe negativity, and if you believe in fear, and you let it control you, and you let it exasperate and squeeze you down, guess what? Bad shit's gonna happen every single time. Because that's all you're seeing. So that's what you're expecting, and that's what you're allowing. But if you control that, and you see something bigger and better, and you have the fear to the side, and I'm going to control today and make it the best day with my control I can to be as safe, as healthy, as prominent, as motivated as possible, then all of the sudden, good things start to turn. Remember, it only takes one domino to fall. It takes one domino to fall, and then things just start going, guys. That's how this works. It just takes one. You don't need to win big all the time. Small wins equal success. But fear is something we all have problems with. All of us, me included, everybody. Scared to be a bad dad, scared to be a bad husband, scared to be a bad business owner, scared to be a bad son, scared to be a bad friend, scared to get a disease and die. I have fears too, but I deal with it every single day. And I tell myself, I can't control that. Now, I believe in God, so I put it in his hands and I have faith. You don't have that. I'm not telling everyone they have to do that, but you've got to have something to believe in. You have to have something to think positive. You've literally got to look at the glass half full every single time. Every single time. There's a guy that used to work for me a long time ago. I don't remember his name and I apologize, but it was back in the early years of home security business. And he used to tell me, Jason, one thing that motivates me when things are bad for me and I'm tough and I'm scared is I would think of mud pies. And I said, what do you mean mud pies? He said, mud pies. I think of the people that are starving in this world that find a way to survive eating mud pies. Think about that for 1 second. They're eating mud pies. So if you think your life is tough, trust me, there's somebody that's got it harder. If you think your life is bad, there's somebody that's got it worse. You have got to take your situation, the cards that you're dealt, and play the best hand you can. And on that hand, you've got to sit here and envision your aces, your kings, your jacks, your queens, whatever your hand is. If you got deuces, it doesn't matter. You play your best hand possible by utilizing less fear and more planning, less anxiety and more confidence. Because there's no way out of the swamp, guys. There's no way out of the quicksand except up here. This is what can control what you do next. This controls if you go right, left, up, down, inside or outside. It's all up here. If you can control this, you can control your next move. You can control how you feel. So quit making excuses. Quit blaming the damn world. Quit finding reasons not to do anything. Think of mud pies. Think of unfortunate events going on for other people. Take yourself, get your ass off the couch and take a chance. Quit being scared. Quit being worried. There's nothing worse than not living. There's nothing worse than not taking a shot. There's nothing worse than allowing everything else to control your life. This is your life. It is your map. It is your destiny. You pick what you're going to do with it. Don't let anybody else or anything else decide that. Think of that Tim McGraw song when he's out there and and he's talking about riding on the bull, and he's talking about hiking, and he's fishing with his dad when he's only got so much time to live. I mean, think about that. If you lived every single day like it was your last, that fear shit would go away and you would enjoy your life. Maybe you need to control your brain to think that way, because life is a gift. It comes and goes like this. We all know people that we love that have come in our life and then all of a sudden are out of our life. You have got to make the best you can. You got one shot. You got one life. You don't get another one in this world. You have got to not be scared. You have got to have zero regrets. There's no elevator in life. You got to take the damn stairs. You got to quit making excuses. You got to quit being scared. You got to do something for yourself. You got to do something that makes you feel good. You got to do something that makes you feel empowered. The time is now. Quit making excuses. Check out the podcast, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It's True Underdog. You can go to trueunderdog.com. You can also go to my YouTube channel, True Underdog. Check it out. Bam!
Damn. True Underdog. Damn.